stayed trained here in the DC area because we had people like Kimberly, and we have donned her to be the Vice Dean of Van Zoo. So, yeah, you know, that's what we had going on over here with us here in the DC area. Before I get started, how many folks actually in the room actually work for the government or government contract? Okay, quite a few people here. And you're trying to get around how you can expose this at work, right? Well, based on the guidelines for the government, now you can't use any government system to put it out there, but you can have your product at your desk.
There you go.
You can have your coffee sitting on your desk. You can have your Gina Alexander's Coffee Journal sitting on your desk. You can have your business card sitting on your desk. Our colleagues do it all the time. I saw a guy had a post on his thing, his painting service. My carpet cleaning service. So, of course, you can best believe every time I go to the coffee center and my thing, there's always an empty Ganovia coffee wrapper sitting right there. Well, I posted one on the board. So everybody knows that I do that, but I don't boast it out. Then folks start drinking, then, well, you need to go see Nick. He has the coffee. So it gets around. So that's how you can get around it. Just post it, you know, on your desk. Now, I have to be honest with you, as I said earlier, I was just totally skeptical about this whole coffee thing because, one, I didn't drink coffee, right? And as I said, coffee was nasty to me, had an aftertaste. But you know what? When I was growing up, my mom drank coffee. You would get up on that Saturday morning, you know, you could smell the bacon, the sausage, and that coffee would always cut through, smell so good, you go down and get a cup of But I had no problems learning that there were other people out there who drank coffee. Okay? 250 million to be exact in North America. As Melissa said, 500 million cups consumed every day. If we just get a little piece of that, we'll give you this. All right, well, I'm going to start out. We're talking about coffee, cake, and conversation. Well, my wife, Ann, who's not here in South Carolina, is doing that very same thing we're talking about. She actually started that whole coffee and cake. And we had to start out with webinars. And this was actually before we even got the coffee. We would have it every Sunday at 4 o'clock. Coffee and cake webinar. Started out real small, then we started big. Then once we actually got the actual product itself, we turned that into having a live event at our home. Folks were sampling. Then you know what? We have to take this out to the masses. So then we actually started having these coffee tastings and coffee cake and conversations outside of our home. Now, and recently had one a couple of weeks ago, and this is basically just showing you guys how to have a simple setup. And we had one in the back room back there. It's just a basic setup. You have your coffee out. Now, one thing you have to make sure, and you have to gauge in terms of the number of people that's going to be at your event. Folks, if y'all going to be serving coffee, you definitely got to have hot water there. Okay? You got to have hot water. And you got to try to at least make it less of a hassle on the person that you're having the event at. So if you're doing it in a restaurant, you want to make sure you have everything. The owners will provide water for you, so you can heat it up in the electricity. But don't bring your condiments, bring your cups, bring your napkins, have all those things in place. So this was a basic setup that Ann had at her sorority meeting. Over 500 sisters at the sorority meeting. So they have like an event before the meeting started where they had the vendors out and then they had like a little lunch. Ours was the first vendor booth that was open. She got in a little early, and the first 4 or 5 people that sampled the coffee started talking to everybody else. Before that event finished, there were about 200 of those ladies who came through to get samples. The Baptist, who was the leader of the group, she said, before we start this meeting, somebody better bring me a cup of this coffee that I keep hearing about. Okay? Then we had several people who were just hanging around the table who said they didn't drink coffee. But everybody else was talking about it. They sampled the coffee. The lady bought 2 bags right there on the spot. Folks, the coffee sells itself. You have to get it out. As Lorenzo said, this particular day, Ann spent about 1 hour and 45 minutes, sold over 12 bags.
Wow.
That's $312.
That's right.
That's $150 an hour. How many of y'all make $150 an hour on your job? Talking about instant retail, talking about taking cash in your pocket? Absolutely. And here's Ann actually there showcasing the event. Now she looks better in her green, AKA green, when you came to the house. All right. But this sort of thing. I mean, I expressed to you earlier, we had an opportunity. I've been talking to a restaurant owner a year prior, been grooming him all year, trying to do an event where we were just strictly traveling. allowed us the opportunity to come into his restaurant, set up a free coffee sample. Started out with just the employees that worked there, they drank it, and they loved it. They started expressing it to the patrons, all the patrons. Now, they don't sell coffee in this restaurant at all. The owner's wife loved the coffee. She wanted to buy a bag, but as one of those good faith things that you do, we gave her a bag of coffee. So we appreciate you giving us the opportunity to do this here. Now we're in negotiation with them to actually start selling the Ganovia coffee within their restaurant. Okay? And as I expressed to you earlier, whenever we go out to now I wasn't doing it before, but I will do it now. As Daniel said, I'm going to start sitting a bag of coffee on the table. I wasn't doing that. I don't know how I missed that one. But as I said, I always fill out the comment sheet. Man, this experience would have been even better if you had the Ganovia coffee. I've gotten a few calls back. Had a few other restaurants. I talked to the manager on site that gave me the corporate information. So now I'm in negotiations, get ready to work out with the corporate officers to get into some of these chains. Churches, ladies and gentlemen. We have all these mega churches here in our area. Go sit and talk to, and then now each church pretty much now has a health minister. Go talk to the health minister. Yesterday, my wife and I went to Kaiser. She went to go have blood drawn. First, they saw the genealogy in the bag. And then she went in and pulled out the coffee. 8 of the people in there wanted the coffee. Wanted to sample the coffee. The very next day, she came back, she sold 2 bags. Now, I had told my physician months ago about it before we had it, and I never got the samples to him. I went back and I stopped, and I gave him the coffee. I said, oh, by the way, if this coffee is as good as you say it is, I'll sit down with you. Let's go down and talk to the facilities man to see if we can have him put it in Kaiser. So when you start talking to these people of influence, they can even help you in terms of, where you can, take this in terms of expanding within that area. Then here's a picture of Ann and another young lady at one of the other vendors one of the events that we had. And the significance, I want to show her picture. We had finished the event, and we were like 2 hours over. And we were just sitting around having dinner. One of the patrons in the restaurant said, you know what, they had the healthy coffee. You need to go take it. We already shut down, had to go out to the car and get her a sample. And on the spot, she bought a bag of coffee. Then she also said, well, if you guys out here selling the coffee, how do you do that? How do you get paid to do that? Now we have an opportunity to sit with her to talk about the brokers. Folks, the coffee is pretty much selling itself, and it's inviting people to come out. All you have to do is just go out and do the labor. It's not that hard. Now, we actually had an opportunity a few weeks ago to talk to a few representatives from our competitors. I'm not going to mention their names. And what everybody is beating us up in is saying, what's your problem? What do you guys have? You seem to, you switching and you flipping things around. And I explained to them, I said, you know what? Our founders and our leaders were smart enough to create a business model that we can expand any market share, no matter what. I said, now, God forbid you with your coffee business, just say, for that, 90% of the coffee field or what have had some sort of illness or something happen. And folks stop buying coffee the next year. What y'all gonna do? I said we can sell every other thing that's going on.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Everything.
And when he heard me say that, he says, wow. I mean, let's look at it, folks. You look at McDonald's, you look at Dunkin' Donuts. McDonald's has a bigger marquee outside now for the Frappuccino and the Mac coffee than they do the Big Mac. Dunkin' Donuts. No longer a donut as the logo, it's a coffee cup. So all the telltale signs are there. So folks, you gotta talk. You gotta talk to folks. Just ask. And the one thing about it, coffee is just an easy selling point. It's something, hey, let's go sit down. I want to share something with you. Let's sit down and have a cup of coffee. I'm on the golf course yesterday, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. That's what CEOs of AMZoo do, play golf 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So I'm riding around with other CEOs. Guy who owns his own company in New Jersey. 2 other distributors, 1 doctor. Another guy from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. After we sitting, we played our 18 holes and we sitting around, and somebody said something about, man, I sure would like a nice cup of coffee right now. The radar went up, right? So you and your wife drink? Well, I don't drink a lot of coffee, but my wife does. Even then, if I show up in my shirt, you guys see me carry that little AMZoo bag around, no matter where I am, folks, there's something on me that markets my business. I had my flyers, I had my postcards, I gave him 3 samples, got his information. We're going to follow up on Monday. If this coffee is good, then we're going to get some. So no matter where you are, always be prepared. Always have your troops, like Daniel said. Have your postcards on you, have your business cards on you. How many, those folks who bought into the platinum level, you got those brochures in your package, right? Yeah. Put your sticker on it, put your name there, so that way when you get it out, you know, they know how to contact you. But if you just pass out that flyer and you don't have anything on it, how are they going to get in touch with you? I mean, Melissa talked about us saying, you know, that we're giving out the samples, you know, daily. Well, we accepted the challenge that she put out, you know, so every day we go out and we find a way. I mean, I'm even to the point, and folks get on it, if I'm coming home at 8, 9 o'clock at night, and I still haven't passed on my 20, I gotta find some place that's open that's doing coffee.
Right. Wow.
I'll stop at a Starbucks in a minute, sit down and talk to folks. Well, I know you already drinking coffee. Maybe that's the CIA side of me, huh? Starbucks paying you? No. Let me show you how you get paid to drink coffee.
Wow.
Go sit down at Dunkin' Donuts. I love the little Starbucks kiosk that are in the grocery stores. Exactly. You can go sit off on the side of the grocery store. Right? Okay, yeah, okay, all right. And then when they get up, coffee for a second. So they do. Coffee shops. Like I said, I really like that one. I just, the one I told you about earlier, the lady said no. And I sat outside the parking lot one day, and folks came on and said, hey, do me a favor, when you go in there, ask her if she has a good order coffee. And I asked my coworkers when they drive by every day. And I came, and then he asked me when they said, a lot of people come in and ask about the order coffee. You got all kind of folks. I told you the word was getting out there, you better get out there. And I'm doing that in several places. So don't be afraid to talk about your product. Don't be afraid to talk to the managers in these restaurants, the place where you spend your money. You know, I go to the cleaners. They got a little coffee pot over there, so I said, you need to try this out. I'm spending my money with you every week. You need to start buying some coffee from me. We don't buy coffee from you. I said, okay, no problem. We don't bring my cleaners in. Okay? I mean, it's a give and take situation. So, this has been a great opportunity for us. I mean, I'm really loving the whole thing about the coffee now, you know, and being tagged the coffee man, and, you know, that instant gratification when you're out there selling the coffee and you get the money right in hand. Yeah. I've never experienced that before, something else that I did. And for those of you out there that say, I don't drink coffee, I think I've heard, I don't drink coffee. Why are they practicing this whole thing about the coffee?
Right.
Well, coffee is a hot commodity right now. I don't wear makeup, but I used to be the Mary Kay man. I had no problem selling lipstick and mascara and all that. You know, that was in a previous life or a previous marriage. It was all good. So don't get caught up on the fact that you don't drink coffee. I didn't drink coffee either. But once I taste this Ganovia coffee, I drink a cup every morning.
All right now.
I drink one before I go to bed.
All right, there you go.
That's all we say. Those of you that doesn't, you know, they want to have meetings at old dark country. Who wants to have a meeting at 6:30 in the morning? I'm still wiping the cobwebs off my eyes. I know that. I think that Ganovia coffee is 6:15. I get that meeting at 6:30. I have so much mental clarity and energy, and they say the meeting's over. So we're not going another 2 hours. I'm ready to go. I can honestly say now, since I've been drinking the coffee, I have much more energy. I can pretty much go through until 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And when I need that little burst of energy then, guess what I take, y'all? Bye back.
By Maxwell. Yeah.
Business that has everything.
Sure enough. Yes.
And they're going to be sold on the internet.
Yes. That's right.
And I tell folks that. You should have seen the guy's face when I told him about the thing that the coffee eventually went bad, what was going to happen to him. He couldn't say anything because they didn't have anything else. Same thing with the gentleman trying to get me into ATM in 5 minutes. I said, the telecommunications industry was already caught up. I said, that's one tab on what I have on my site.
All right.
That's all you do. So now I'm going to sit sit down and come to the table. Folks, don't be afraid to go out there and talk about your business. The coffee is hot, and the coffee is cold and hot. How many people drink cold coffee? So y'all just look. You got Nick here who never drank coffee in his life. Now drinking hot coffee and cold coffee. And Melissa, you gave an awesome recipe, and love. She says created cold coffee 60 years ago. Starbucks just stole her idea. She's been drinking cold coffee. So you have an opportunity to have them both. Now we had people at one of our events, they said they didn't drink coffee, so they didn't want it hot. But then when we pulled out the cold coffee, they came and they drank the cold coffee. And they still bought a bag to then make the cold coffee. So whether you drink it hot, whether you drink it cold, the coffee is hot. So. And if you don't get on board with this, you're going to miss this train. Now, I don't know how many of you were on the IMV call on Tuesday. And if you had not been the president and CEO of your business before, you need to be so now. Okay? 2 weeks ago, I got my 30-year pin for working for the CIA. CIA has helped me to build the life that I had thus far. But Zen Zoo is going to help me build that lifestyle, and that legacy, and the financial independence for the next 30 years. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you, get on board with this coffee. I'm Nick Brown, half of the Ann Brown Bill, and I am the president and CEO of Believers Exceed Enterprise.